Should we start or we wait for 5 more minutes to before we?
Yeah, so let's start.
Let's start.
So, good evening, everyone. First of all, we hope that you're all doing well, and we welcome you to our session on the career journey from SDET to the product manager. And first of all, I would like to introduce you all to our guest speaker, Rashi Atry. She is an IT graduate from Radha Govind Engineering College, Meerut, and she's currently working as a product manager at Dream11. And prior to that, she was working with Naukri.com and had taken up several roles like lead mobile applications testing analyst and manual and automation testing engineer. So, once again, we welcome you, Dee, and we would love to know your journey from SDET to product management.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for the great introduction. It covers what I wanted to cover, but I'll still talk a little about it. Take a minute and speak about it. One very important thing, guys. I want this to be less formal and more of a conversation. So, wherever you feel you would like to know something in more detail, wherever you feel where you would like to, understand how it happened, why it happened, or what that anything that we talk about going forward in the session is, feel free to raise up your question or put it on the chat, however. So again, thanks a lot for having me here. This is my first session that I'm doing, or any conference of this kind that I'm being a speaker of, and I'm really happy about it to share it with you all. Like I have been introduced. I did my engineering from a normal college. I joined Naukri as a manual tester. So I started testing the website first, then over a course of some time, I moved towards testing applications. While I was doing that in parallel, I also scaled myself from manual to an automation profile. While doing that altogether, it happened that I moved completely into working on apps only. Apps, when I say, it meant Android and iOS applications. And when I was doing this, having smartphones or the introduction of smartphones was still pretty new. So it was a great. I really feel extremely proud about being part of that journey when entire technology was seeing that shift that was happening in the market in general, in in the public, at an overall level. And after that, this is the part of Naukri. I had to part ways with Naukri due to some personal commitments and changes, and I was relocating to Mumbai. While I was relocating, I happened to start working with Dream11. Over there, again, I had joined Dream11 as a as an automation tester, as an SDET engineer, like senior development engineering in testing. Over time, in the course of being a tester and a SDET in Dream11, I happened to touch base on a lot of different uh, platforms, got a different exposure in multiple aspects of testing as well. Performance testing, which I was never exposed to in Naukri, I started doing that, and a lot of different security level testing, and load testing were became part of the day to day activities over time. Uh, After I was doing all this, somewhere down the line, I felt that I could do more, but I sense that it's not by default coming to be a tester anymore like it used to come in my earlier career. That's when I took a step back. I thought about and realized like what I can do better, which will make me where I will feel more satisfied into the contributions that I will make. And fortunately, immediately, almost at the same time, when I was just retrospecting on these prospects of where I was, it happened that within Dream 11, the company started to take internal transfers. What that meant that if you are interested, you can put in your resume exactly how any external candidate would do for any job opportunity or a job position which is open in the company. You can apply to it, and basis on your resume, your profile, you will be considered for interview. And I think that was the first time we were doing it, and I went through the entire uh, process of the job role that I had applied for, and it worked out for me. So like I had applied, of course I had applied for to being a product manager in the organization, and I we were given a case study to build. I worked on that. It was, I still remember that when I was working for that interview and the presentation, I think that was my first presentation ever, where I was presenting to an audience of around 10 to 15 people in the room, and it felt great. I had put in a lot and lot of effort into working on that case study, and it went really really well. And I think that's the result of why I'm here where I am. So worked on a case study. I had worked on the basic aspects of why I think that I can be a product manager, some of the traits that I believe that will make me a suitable product manager. I'll actually just touch base on them as well in details. And after a couple of other further rounds with different people in the team, I happened to get the opportunity of working as a PM. Now, some of the things where I felt that I was suitable for a product manager, and maybe product manager is going to be the right opportunity and a right role for me to take my in my career path. uh, as a tester, you are supposed to work with different teams to ensure that you are being able to successfully execute what you have to do. That's literally part of your job. Like, it's not something that comes exclusively, something that's going to tell you. It's part of your job. So which meant that I was already coordinating with product managers for in which whose team I was working. I was already coordinating with developers of different teams, which included backend develop engineers, which included Android engineers, iOS engineers, if required, website engineers. I was in consistent touch, and while working I was speaking with designers, be it your UX or user experience designers or user interface designers. Sometimes if required, we were also talking to analytics teams for different projects and different roles and situations and cases. So that synergy that I felt that I could bring, it made me feel that I can also start contributing as a product manager. I have a good understanding of the business, of how Dream 11 was functioning, how it works, how the systems work. I understood the people, I understood the teams, and I was coming and born within the system to be a good suitable product manager. So these were some of the factors that also played part on my side. And on the other hand, my previous experience of coming from being a personally being a person who likes to be more organized, who likes to have certain things done in the correct fashion rather than to just take hop on from one thing to another. These literally small factors, the soft skills of the trait of being a QA, helped me to also get into this role of product manager. So this touch bases on why I wanted to become a product manager and why I became one, and also how I became one. Uh, any questions so far? Anything that you would like to know more? Okay, fair enough. Now coming on to what you know, well, getting into a role is the one and the first biggest hurdle to cross, which I was able to cross. uh, you know One of the great thing was that I was able to take that internal transfer within the company. So if you do not have any MBA background, and if you're shifting your roles, being in the same organization works the best. If you can do that, great. If you can't, it doesn't mean that you cannot land or change your career path. You can definitely change it even when you do not have the specific education. But being honest, it can be a little hurdlesome. So you will have to figure out how you do it, what all actions you need to take, with all which are the companies which will be open to hire a fresher who will be contributing in the organization. Another way is that while you are being doing the technical part of the job, and if you really want to move into product management only as the career path, you start figuring out how as a how your product managers in the organization are working so far. You work with them, you figure out ways where you can start contributing with them. And actually that was also one of the things that I was doing with my PMs that I had I was working with at that point in time. So which also gave me a little understanding of how they function, what they do on a day-to-day basis. So these are some of the things that come handy when you are looking to move your path from without the having the actual education of it, which is honestly not a mandate. So that's the good part about it, that it's not really a mandate anymore in any of the industry if you have to switch your career path somewhere in between. Now, I would like to address of what I do as a product manager, and I am a product manager in Dream 11. So what my company does and what I contribute towards being in the company. Uh, I am so I hope that all you all are aware of Dream 11. Uh, Thanks, Manish. Manisha. My bad. Yeah. Mansi. Cool. Mansi, just give me a second. I'll complete this part and take your question. Uh, what I do and where what my organization does. Dream 11 is India's first fantasy sports platform, which means that it lets users play fantasy sports basis on how the actual players are performing on the ground. Uh, Now, what I do, I look after the customer experience of the product, which means that Dream 11 is my product. I ensure that all the users, those who come on my platform, they have a great customer experience from start till the end, where I identify where I can elevate the scenarios where my users may face an issue, and I figure them out proactively and get rid of them. If they face an issue, I provide them mechanics so that they can reach out to my customer service team conveniently. And once they reaches out to my customer service team, my team is efficient and have all the efficient tools in place so that they can respond to the user and resolve my user's issue really at a certain at lightning fast speed. Mansi, your question is, I am in college. Is there anything I can do as of now to reach this post sooner? Sure, there are a lot of different courses that are available today. Product School being one. There is another one which is PM School, which provide courses at the beginners level. It goes back to understanding of uh, what is product management. It requires you to learn business. It requires you to identify how you can contribute to the business, where what is your sweet spot as an individual with respect to that business, and how you can make more and more out of that, which means like how you will be defining identifying what are the requirements that needs to be added to the product that you will be working on to make it better. Does it need to be made better at all? That's also very important, identifying what are the problem statements that needs to be solved. Once you have them identified, you figure out why are they important to be solved, like, and you add the value of if they will be solved, what are the users, how the users are going to benefit out of it. Once you have that in place, then you go back with your team and you figure out which is the most important problem of all the problems that you have listed so far. You have that, you take that problem statement, work with your design team to design a solution around it. Once that happens, you take it to your technical team. Your technical team is actually going to implement the solution that has been designed, and finally your product is going to see the light of the day. This is what in details will be taught to you of how to think, how to execute, how to identify the right steps, and how to what all you should be doing at what on point in time to make this entire thing happen successfully. So, for that matter, you can actually do courses, you can speak to more people, you can, in your resumes, you can call out like, why do you think that you want to be a product manager? Why product management, not any other, position in the tech industry? Why do you want to choose that? It's very important that you need to buy in that factor, like the, you know, reason yourself before you start going out of the why. Like, why do you want to choose product management but not anything else? That's the most important question that you need to answer. Once you are convinced, once you have played a devil's advocate, you have argumented in your head 1,000 times about it, you know how certain you are about it. And then you go ahead, take courses, speak to people, figure it out, put it on your resumes. Why do you think? Speak with, and like, go ahead and share your resumes with people. Mansi, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, honestly, like, this is how uh, long my journey has been so far. And it has been 2 years as of now where that I've been working as a product manager in Dream 11, and it has been super awesome. I like what I do. There are days when I'm like, oh, why I am a product manager, but I think that's part of every role. So that's that's just common thing. What else would you guys like to know about, uh, in terms of how do you want to work, why do you want to work in product management, what happens in being in that role, anything around that?
Um, that's great, Dilek. You almost covered everything about the product management. But we got some questions from the students. So I would like to ask some of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's one question that what is product management exactly, and is it like more better than the software engineering? And what are the different tasks in the product management domain?
Okay. uh so what is product management? I'm just writing them down and repeating. So first you want me to answer what is project product management, why it is better than being a software engineer, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then what all does the product manager do, correct?
yes, yes.
Yeah. Cool. So product management, well, it is said that a product manager is the mini CEO of the team he works in. What does that mean? That you are the one who is taking decisions by consulting your team on day-to-day basis. It can be different things. Like how I said, you identify what is the problem statement that your users are facing with respect to the product that you have at hand. You identify which is the most important problem that you need to solve, which means going back and understanding the data that exists for your product, understanding like which are the problems that you want to solve today, which are the ones that can wait for future. Three, uh, I said, like, why you want to, what are the problem statements, then why do you want to solve it, how do you state and tell your team that why it is important to solve that problem as of today. And good chances, very very good chances, that your team is completely not onboarded about it. So you figure it out with your team to get them onboarded. Either they will get onboarded or you will have to change the course of your plan. And it really happens quite frequently where you also have to figure it out with your team. So it's literally a thing that you rely on others expertise. So you're in when I say your team, it means a bunch of software engineers, which combines your backend developers, your front end developers, which is your Android developer, iOS developer, your web developer, and your designers. Designers are mostly also of two types, which are your experience designers, UI user interface designers. Sometimes you also have your user researcher who has a say in this. Then from tech coming again, you have your, sometimes you will have your data engineers who will be taking decisions, or like telling you what kind of decisions you should be taking. Your data scientists will be telling you about it. Your data analysts will be telling you about it. So that's what you ideate, and you go back, You discuss that with your team, you re-ideate, and you define your problem. Then you put it out in a plan of how you want to pick it, the sequence of those problems that you want to solve in. You work on them, you share them. That's when your designers will start working on them and solving those problems for you. That's not your job. Your job is to help that your designers are moving in the direction that you really want to solve. So and then once your designs are okay, your designs are approved by your team, which means apart from design, rest of the team, they accept it, they say yes, this is feasible to develop in the tech capacity that you have. You take it into development and you take it forward. A PM is a collaborator at every journey of all these steps that have to happen before any product goes to my user. When I'm saying product, it can be small, medium, large, big. What that means, it can be something as small as showing an error while you are logging in. So, for example, if I am logging in on Gmail and the kind of error messages that I'm showing today, I when somebody say that it's not appropriate, I don't understand it. I go back and identify how big that a problem is. I'll say, oh yes, it is important. My designer will design for it. My technical team will work on it, and then it will go to the user finally. And then I will continue, come back, and see that when I have why I have said that it is important. Has there been any change and do I see any success around it? So it goes back to saying and that you are so these are just stages of any product or any feature of being provided to the user. You are there always at every point in time. There will be times when you will be working with marketing team. So who is a product manager? What is product management? You understand business. You are the CEO of the team that you are running. So which means that you have to understand business. You have to have a decent understanding of technology on which you build that feature or product or tool. You work with designers, so it's good that you understand how a good what is a good user experience is. Then you work with your I cover technical team who comes after design. Then you work with your data team, which, like I said, three different verticals of data as well. And in some companies, there are more. I am talking about the teams and the com- uh, you know distributions we have in my organization, which is Dream 11. So you are the collaborator, the handholder, the executor if required. You are also someone who identifies the blockers, and you go out and do everything to resolve them for the team. And then you are also somebody who is working in constant synergies with the business, which means your higher stakeholders, your managers, managers, sometimes even marketing, and sometimes even you're speaking to your users to identify what they want. You are everywhere, and you have to ensure that you capture all this information from different sources, you identify them, and then you get them executed with the team. So this is the basic job role of a product manager. So product what is product management? Product management is somewhere you so you know a combination of these product managers, where you have business, marketing, you understand business, you understand how to market your product, you understand how to design your product, you understand how to develop your product, and you understand how to launch your product, and also how to make that product successful for your users at the end, because that's what you are thriving for. Now, next question is why it is better to be better than software engineer. There is no comparison, honestly. It's literally a person to person thing. I know people personally, those who were in tech and became product managers, and they feel that tech was better. I know people, those who are tech and product management, and they say product management is better. There is no comparison, because the expertise at both the places is very different. One thing I can say from my experience, product management is comparatively more stressful. very stressful for sure. So as a tech engineer, you can sometimes you don't make a lot of decisions as being in tech. And when I say software engineer, I'm concluding a lot of different teams that I spoke about who are part of tech, which is your analysts, your engineers, all engineers across, your data scientists, your machine learning engineers, your AI technicians, everyone. May not have to make that many decisions that a product manager has to make in a day. So that's where the stress piece comes into picture. So, and that's the only thing. It's fun. It's definitely more fun because you're literally on your toes for different things altogether. But with that fun factor, sometimes for some people, it also leads to a little bit of stress, which is comparatively lesser on the tech side. And that's literally from my personal experience. That's it. Uh, I think I've also covered what a product manager does and what is product management. So now let me know if you guys would like to me to elaborate each of these factors in a little more in a different manner.
I think most of the queries you have already like taken. Yeah, if you can elaborate a bit, that would be awesome.
Okay, sure. So I think I'll tell you, what my day looks like. So that will give you an idea. I'll also talk about what my day used to look like when I was in tech, when I was doing testing, and I also talk about what my day looks like now. So when I was in tech, it used to start with first literally writing down all your to dos, figuring out if I have features and tasks which are dev done that need to get tested, figuring out if they require any follow-ups with my tech team, like, which I used to do that. Am I blocked anywhere? If yes, calling it out to my product manager that I am blocked here, like help me through it. Mostly my product manager, then my boss, because product manager had more context of the things that I was working on. I wasn't reporting to the product manager, and even till date, I do not have anybody from the tech team who report to me directly, which means in the system, I don't have someone like who's like, I'm not managing people. That's not the thing. Uh, and then I used to figure out, oh, I'm supposed to test all these features. I used to either write code or test them or run load tests and finally give an approval, report bugs around it, or say that there are no bugs. I have verified them all, and this is good to go to the next phase of the feature release. That was how my day used to look like. Now, how my day looks like. I still go when I reach office or when I'm starting my day. I still write my list of to dos. I identify which are the things that are going on, who is working on what, and is everything on track. If not, what are the blockers? How can I resolve them? At the end, I am the one who has to resolve them for my team. Uh, I figure that out. Then, to resolve those blockers, what all next things that needs to get done, which may mean I have to speak to my boss, which may mean I have to speak to other product managers, I have to speak to other tech people in the team, I have to, or, however, which leads to having more meetings, discussions, and updates with different people that will help to unblock where my team is blocked. I do that. I see my core feature, which is which is the core product that I look after. How is that performing? Which means that I look at data. I look at, that yesterday there were 100 users those who were using the product. Today there are only 20. I go back and question that why it's only 20. How can we make it any different? That's one part. Uh, I work with designers to ensure that whatever once my tech team gets done with the work they have on their plate, there are new things which are design ready that the tech can work on. I work with my uh, there was another thing I was about to call out. Yeah, I work with my captain, my manager, and other people in the team, if based on the need, to figure out what is the next thing that we should be doing. Like, okay, my tech team is doing work A, my design team is doing work B, which will tomorrow be taken up by tech team. But what is the C thing that we should do so that the users, those who were 100 today, become 1,000 tomorrow? Because that's how I'm saying that that's what my success looks like. My success is that my product is used more and more, or my feature is used more and more. So I work with my team to identify those strategies. Basis on those strategies, I will be working with different stakeholders, which means it can be marketing team, it can be, sometimes it can even be another product management team, like another team run by another product manager who's looking after any other aspect of the business. I will be working on that, and I will be defining a roadmap, which means that setting up list of to dos for my team in the coming future. As a product manager, if I have to state it, it's literally like that you are solving for today, but you are analyzing in yesterday, and you are thinking for tomorrow. What does that mean? I am implementing and developing something today, and I'm figuring out that everything that I have on the plate is like nobody is blocked. Every team has whatever they were doing, they are all good and they are all going on a smooth path. Yesterday, the feature that I had already released, how is that performing? How? So I learned from there, and I implement it either in my today basis on the need, or I define that this is something that I should be doing tomorrow because this is a problem. A product manager literally defines the strategy, defines the vision, defines the success metrics, which means how I'm going to measure the success, defines the strategy, defines all the things that fit into the strategy, which will become a roadmap. Work with the team to prioritize that roadmap, which means identifying which is the problem that I want to solve first, and then take it forward from there. And once all of this is happening, you also work to ensure that what you are doing, what your team is doing, is also being communicated to your higher management. You are product manager is one person who is there everywhere. So that is like a further detail, and I think I covered for some of the things that I thought I had missed. Anything more that you would like to understand here?
See, I think you have covered everything. Just one question, the like if somebody has worked in different roles inside an organization, so does that gives a person an edge to become a like a product manager?
As in, can you explain?
The like if somebody has worked in different roles, like if he's been in software developer, tester, or has worked as a research analyst, so does that gives that person an edge to become a better product manager?
Well, yes, it does. There are two things. Sometimes you learn while doing the job, and some things you learn from experience. So I am not an expert. When I was in testing, I was not an expert in development. I always used to give a suggestion and or a recommendation, like can we, or rather used to just ask questions that. And there were times when they said no, we thought about it, but this is not going to work out with testing. And there were also times when they said, oh, we really didn't think about it. We'll think about it and see if this needs to be handled and taken care. So that's one. So when you are a product manager, you are working with different teams. In today's time, a lot of people from different, all these teams that I spoke about, all these people shift from what they were doing and become a product manager. All of them have a upper hand of what they were doing, of course, because they have been an expert at a certain job role. But they still have to learn the traits of other teams that they work with. For example, in my case, I was a tester. I for certain things when I'm speaking to a tester, I'm more confident and I can say more things because I have that expertise. But I but that doesn't mean that I do not work with the analyst team and I do not say anything when I'm working with that person. I still have to understand how they function. I still have to understand that how much time my designer can take to design a solution for something I had taken to him. I still have to understand that if my tech guy says that this can be built, I call out that, we may not have the tech stack in my company to build what we are proposing as of today. So if you say that you can write code for this feature in 2 days, there have been times when we have called out, are you sure? Because to what we know, it can be more because of so and so reasons. And that's where like the final decision will come from the dev only. Like I am not going to make that decision because my expert is my developer, like who is going to write the code. But if you know a little more, then you can always contribute. So if you have experience in any of the team that you would be working with in future, that yes does come as an upper hand. Irrespective of that, you still have to learn and understand how every team functions. Divya, does that answer your question?
Yeah, we got the answer. We are open for the questions if anybody else has some questions. Okay.
Oh, what is the best thing about being a product manager? You get to speak with a lot of people on day-to-day basis. You're actually learning a lot when you're speaking from different people. So I feel that's one of the best thing. And basis on the kind of product that you work on, in my case Dream 11, there have been times when I have been part of the user research where we were speaking to the users, those who use the product. It was great. We had great, and like I was amazed by how different people from different demographics, states, different brackets of their profession, different brackets of the age group, how they think and how they look at in maybe even the entire world from their perspective. So that's one great thing about it. You're welcome, Aishman. Guys, it's okay. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. So that's totally okay. A good product manager should be asking a lot of questions. Cool. If you don't want to ask questions, I'll ask questions and you can feel free if you want to answer them. Uh, so far, where do you think that you would fit best? As an individual, do you prefer to write code or would you prefer to not own the code but not read the code but like work towards making that code to solve the user's problem?
Personally, I would go for the latter part. Would love to
Okay.
solve. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there are different ways to solve users' problem. Eventually, everyone is solving users' problem. Their modes are different. A user, a user experience designer is also doing the same. A developer is also doing the same. So yeah, you guys are not curious regarding how a product manager is different than project manager.
I guess you can take up this. We are not familiar with project manager.
Okay. So, product manager, project manager is one person who, like I said, in that, a product manager works with the dev team as well. So, in some organizations, they have product managers and project managers. Just the roles are little bifurcated. What a product manager does, he is working more on the product side. He, like, on the ideation, strategy, roadmaps, vision, and a little bigger item. A project manager is working at the ground level with the dev team for execution. They are the ones who are resolving the blockers. Product manager continues to resolve the blockers, but at a higher stage, at more like a top level stage. A project manager works at a uh, you know at the foot with the team, understanding day to day actions and activities of how they are moving on day to day basis. So keeping everything on track, keeping everything on time is a project manager's responsibility. Product manager's responsibility is to ensure that in whatever capacity he has designed and communicated that these are the things that are going out in 3 months, 2 months, or 10 months of time, they are on track and they continue to move in the directions ahead, and call out any success or failures as soon as possible to the higher stakeholders, to the management.
The I think I've covered all this of project manager, and I guess we are almost about to end. So, if anybody has any questions, you guys can unmute yourself, or we'll conclude in a minute. Then,
Ayushman has asked me a question. Yes, Ayushman. A lot of times, being as a tester, being as a PM, I have disagreements with my bosses. I have disagreements with my team. I have disagreements with everyone. How I resolve them? How we resolve them with the data. Dream 11 is an extremely data obsessed organization in general. So, and it took me some time to understand. There have been times when I was stuck and I was like, I used to reach out to my boss how to solve for it. He's like, just read the data, it will tell you. And that day, it was a magic potion for me. There are times when even I am wrong for the opinion that I'm putting out. So I take a step back and figure out, like, okay, yes, I am wrong. And there are times when I am also able to inform my team that there we will have what we are doing is because of so and so reasons, and how this is why it makes sense to do it in such manner and not otherwise. So data is my magic potion to resolve any disagreement when I have with my team. Any more questions?
so I guess yeah, there are no more questions. So here we come to an end of the session. Thank you so much, Steve, for taking out time for delivering this awesome.
Anytime.
And I'm sure everyone would have learned a lot from your experience, and this will definitely help us in our corporate journey. And the once again, thank you so much for delivering this wonderful session. Before we conclude, I would ask everyone to switch on their videos if possible. We'll take a group photograph for keeping this session as memory. You guys can switch on your camera.
The way you have scared them away. You're on mute.
Okay, I guess we can take this screenshot now. Thank you so much, Dee, for this
Anytime.
session.
Yeah. Cool. All the very best to all of you. And in case if anytime you guys feel that you would like to know more, feel free to like reach out to me.
Yes, Dee.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Bye,
Have
Dee.
a nice weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.